Today's video, we're gonna talk about the top quality store badge that you can put on your website that Google will give you that will increase the amount of clicks that you get on Google Shopping. Also, increase the conversion rate on your website. This is a new tool/service that Google's came out with to properly evaluate their users on your website when clicking through Google Shopping listings itself, as a tool that identify if you should rank highly on the Google Shopping platform. Now, you may say, well, I don't even know how much I get through Google Shopping, or can you basically get very much out in terms of customers through it? And I've personally seen, because this data is available to you in your Google Merchant Center account already if you have an account that's been set up. They will tell you definitively what you're getting in terms of actual sales from it already. And you can get 2 to 5 times more than that easily by just going through and becoming a top quality score. And I'm gonna tell you how to do that on today's video. Anybody can set this up, and it's not that difficult at all to do. And for that matter, if you get in on it now before everybody in your whole niche space learns about it, then you'll be able to get even more out of it, surely, than what you would be waiting till you're like the last guy in your space doing this. But if you stay to the end of the video, I will go through a case study where we got this badge, and I'll tell you just how much of an increase in business we got from it in multiple ways, i.e. getting more traffic out of Google Shopping, but also increasing the conversion rate on our entire store's traffic as well, not just from the Google Shopping. So I'll go through that if you stay to the end of the video, but the main thing is you absolutely want to get this implemented, because ultimately, yes, it may not be a huge chunk of your percentage of your sales, but every sale you get will come with no marketing cost. So if you're used to running ads now, you're making, let's say, 50% margin on your product now. Well, that of course can go up to 75, 80% potentially when there's no marketing cost to what you're selling. You know, if you're a manufacturer and you're going direct to consumer, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm gonna go through all the process of setting this up and then what the results will be. But before I do, if you do not know who I am Corey Ziman, owner of Guaranteed PPC, an online advertising agency that specializes in guaranteeing results for clients. That is, we do not charge our clients management fees until we can get them a certain minimum lift in the profitability, basically in excess of the management fees that we charge. We are the only agency out there who does anything like this. So with that said, I'll get into the content here. So this is all can be broken down into a simple 3-step formula in order to get what Google will give you as a top quality store badge you can put on your website once it's done. Of which, by the way, in and itself has a ton of value. You know, the increase in Google Shopping app traffic you're gonna get from this, or from the Google Shopping platform, which you can also get through just on a desktop device without using a separate app. But with that said, what Google is doing here to decide if you should rank organically on the Google Shopping app itself or not, before was mostly predicated on the items that you sell in their reviews. That, and just identifying, does it look like a lot of people come back to the app and click on something else, indicating they didn't get what they wanted, and for whatever reason. To be more accurate at this in judging your skill in pleasing their users so that they want to come back and use the Google Shopping app more in the future, they've implemented a customer survey that they run towards your customers after they've bought on your site. Google direct feedback as to how good your website is. So they're not judging you based upon, do you convert well in and itself? Ultimately, do your products have good reviews, but also users get a great experience? Did they feel like there was enough information? The site was easy to use, that type of thing, in addition. So with that, what you do is, to do this, Google gives you the code to put on your website to put a customer survey on your success page of your website. When people check out the order confirmation page, and it asks the user, how is your experience? And people will know this is a Google survey. And then with that, around 10% or so people will fill out the survey. It varies by niche. Sometimes it can be 3%, sometimes it can be 15, 20, whatever. Once you get enough data, Google will now make a determination as to whether or not your website is set up well enough, including what would be included having like a phone number that people can call if they have questions and a knowledgeable person on the other side of that phone when they call. They're going to make a determination of whether or not you should be given this top quality store status or not. And then as a result, pump you up in the rankings on the Google Shopping app. In addition to being able to state that you are a top quality score on top of everything else. So for that matter, what I've seen that it usually takes is somewhere between 100 and 1,000 purchases before Google's going to have enough data to make this determination for you to get this badge or not. And then on top of that, it looks like you have to have at least a 4.5 rating to get the top quality store rating, which I'm pretty sure, because Google doesn't give you what it's going to take to get this rating, I'm pretty sure they're benchmarking you against all the other stores. So if the other stores only get, like let's say half of the people saying it was a good experience, then all you got to get is 60% of the people to say it was a good experience going with you. And then now you're going to have the status. So it's not on a curve basically. But after 100 to 1,000 purchases, as long as you get a 4.5 or greater, or at least a 4 for most of you, then you'll get this top quality store rating here that you can do two things with. One, you get higher rankings on Google Shopping right away, but also you get a badge that you can put on your website, and it says a Google top rated store and your rating itself out of 5. Okay, and there's some stars there. Google still to this day is one of the most trusted organizations out there. You've heard people belly aching and whining and complaining about Google for some time now, but at the end of the day, out of all the companies that people trust, Google's basically trusted the most because people interact with Google all the time and they rely on it for pretty much every query and piece of information they need. And they basically think Google can't screw them over because in the past, with hundreds or thousands of interactions that they've had with them in the past, they've never been wronged by Google unless you're an advertiser. And with that, they really, really trust it. So out of all the people that could give you a rubber stamp of credibility, it's really, for an e-commerce store, it's basically like the top one you could get because of this. So they give you this badge and it would be to your benefit to plaster this across your website, in the footer of your website, on the product pages, in blended in with the content, main content. Also on the checkout page, assuming you can modify your checkout and putting it there, because it's in each additional place you put it, you're going to increase your conversion rates on the traffic you have coming into the store. And the overall gain in profitability of your business that you will get between the two things of higher shopping rankings and higher conversion rates on your website, because you put this badge on the site and people trust it and trust Google, you're going to get more overall benefit, increase in sales, increase in profit from just the badge being on your website than your increase in rankings on shopping. Mainly because, generally speaking, shopping is not going to be your main revenue source in your business. So percentage-wise, you'll get a huge increase in your rankings. Yes, you will. But it still only might bring you from 1% of your traffic to 3% of your traffic and sales, or 3% to 10%, and you still have other traffic coming to your site. That's the bigger chunk of your traffic and sales that you're getting. And if you could increase the conversion rate on that at 90% by 5%, then that ends up being more revenue generated for you at the end of the day than the tripling, if you will, even of the traffic that you're now getting from Google Shopping. So for that matter, having the top quality store badge won't necessarily make you rank first on Google Shopping. It's still one component of the overall ranking algorithm that they have. Whatever rankings you have, it will go higher once you have this, significantly higher. And where you're getting at least double the traffic you were getting from the store, that is organic clicks, not paid clicks, from the store once you get this rating. So it's absolutely worth it to do. For that matter, you should be running free and paid on the Google Shopping app, which you get the paid ads going by, of course, running either a PMax campaign or a shopping campaign, which, of course, the details on that, I talk about how to set that up for success and make it pay for itself on other videos on this channel, which, of course, by the way, if you want to become a millionaire/multi-millionaire running ads for your business, there is no better information you can find on that topic than on this channel, because I'm a practitioner of it, and this is all I do all day long at my firm. Most other information that you find out there about how to run ads successfully are given to you by content creators who don't run ads. If this is your goal, subscribe to this channel. You should also, while you're at it, if you like the channel already, check out my blog on my site at guaranteedppc.com/blog. I've got step-by-step instructions there on how to make money with ads, with screenshots, with everything you need to use it. So go ahead and check that resource out as well. But with that said here, I'm actually going to go into the case study that I have here, which we had a client who actually earned this rating, and I was able to see what the results in the traffic from Google Shopping we got before and after this rating was picked up and earned, and also what it did in terms of the conversion rate from our traffic when it was plastered across the website, like I mentioned earlier. Footer, product page, in the description, also checkout page, because we use Shopify Plus. We can modify our checkout on our website as well, if you will. And by the way, you can actually see how much organic traffic you get from the Google Shopping app by simply going into your Google Merchant Center account, and you can go under the free clicks section of your account. And this code that you're going to need to implement on your site to start the survey is also available by your Google Merchant Center account as well. If you have specific questions about this, you can always ask me in the comment section. I can point you to where you need to be. Or if you have any marketing or ad related question, you can always ask me there. I'm more than happy to respond to everybody who asks me a question on this channel, as you're helping me help the channel grow. So why not? Why would I not want to do that? So you could check your free traffic. What you should expect if you get the top quality store rating from Google is at least double the organic traffic that it says you're getting now. We had a client who sold paint, house paint here. It's a very long-standing client. They had the total sales that they had in their company from the free clicks on Google Shopping, given that most of their sales that they made are from search engine traffic. 2% of their total sales that their company was generating was coming from the free organic clicks on the shopping app. Okay, now, what do you think the clicks went up to once we got this rating finally, after putting the necessary code on the site for a good 3 months? What do you think we got? Well, we went from 2% of our overall sales coming from there to 5%, which just that jump in itself, though, isn't a 3% increase in our profitability, because all those sales come at no extra marketing costs, whereas most of our traffic is paid traffic. We had to run paid ads through Google Ads in order to get the customers in the first place. So it didn't increase our profitability by 3%. It increased our profitability by like 5% overall. So it's not a game changer, but when you're doing roughly $5 million a year in sales already, and you increase your profitability by 5%, and you're making $500,000 a year in profit, well, you got an extra $25,000 in profit coming in per year that you can use to buy a new car every year just by putting this together. Now, if you have more sales than that, then it's going to obviously be a bigger impact, or vice versa. If your traffic's too low, you might not even have a chance to do this at all, because you won't have enough people filling out the customer survey. For and of which, by the way, is relative though, because if your competition can't very easily get feedback, then it's going to take less overall feedback and forms and surveys submitted to get the top quality store rating itself, because your competition has already, wasn't able to also get that many submissions. And so it's going to take less itself, at least from what I've noticed, because we've done this with several businesses in several niches now. The same thing can be said, by the way, in regards to what rating you need to get the top quality store rating. It's not, you must get 4.5 out of 5, when if the other stores were only able to get at best a 4, well, of course, if you get a 4, you're already going to get this badge/rating for your store. So anyway, with that said, volumetrically wise, that's about what we got. So, and then conversion rate wise, now to go into that, I also want to say here, this is a great way to make money, but still at the end of the day, if you're going to become truly wealthy running ads or, promoting your business, you need to learn how to run ads successfully in a way that you could take $1 and turn it into $10, and then $10 into $100, and so on and so on and so on. I've got the best information you're going to find on this channel to learn that from, specifically, like I mentioned it before, but also you need somebody to get the work done, because it isn't just about knowing what to do. You have to know how to do it, and you got to do it effectively, and it's time consuming. To walk a company up to millions of dollars in sales, you might have a 5,000 hours of time working on your ads. And if you don't have that time, you hire the best agency you can find, of which ours is the best one I could recommend to you, legitimately, that I know of in our general price range or cheaper. And we guarantee your results. There's a reason why we could do that and other firms can't, because we know what the hell we're doing here. If you're interested in that, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I also offer ad templates. If we've already worked in your niche market before, we can tell you the winning ads, landing pages, campaign templates, all of it that work for your niche market. You copy paste that into your own ad accounts and get the same results we did in a different city or country for yourself, with none of the time, money, and effort it took for us to figure out how to run that golden version of the ad account for yourself. For that matter, we worked in hundreds of niches, so the chances are quite high we've got the template for you already ready to go. We've got people that buy these templates even to just start other businesses up because they work so well. It's like having a business in a box, essentially, because they could sub out the work or they could drop ship or whatever, because the value of the business is the template, essentially. I've been doing coaching and consulting with individuals that reach out from this channel as well. If you have one-off questions, you want a private phone call where I can go over and tell you what you're planning on doing is right or wrong, or give you some ideas to grow your sales, you can also reach out to me for that. More than happy to have a conversation with you about that as well. But what I was mentioning here was in terms of conversion rate. So if you want to know how much our profitability of the traffic we had driven to the site already from all traffic sources, not just from Google Shopping, once we added the badge to our website, from what I was able to pick up year over year, looking at, which normally for most businesses not be looking at the previous 3 months to identify if you're doing better or worse the next 3 months in terms of figuring out your marketing strategy is effective or not. You should be doing a year over year analysis, comparing March, April, May to the previous year's March, April, May, not March, April, May to January, February, or December, January, February, because almost every business is seasonal to some degree, even if you don't think it is. It still fluctuates throughout the year. Certain months have different propensities to bring in an ROI on $1 of ad spend, or a certain visit to the website has a different propensity to convert, depending on what month of the year it is. 90% of the businesses I work with, that's going to be the case. And we work with a huge breadth of different businesses and niches here. But anyway, so with that said, we did a year-over-year analysis. After we got the badge added to the website, we got about 7% higher conversion rate, which I admit that's a little hard to tell on that kind of an increase in conversion rate if this is a statistical anomaly or not. But for me, going back and checking previously the last 3 years, given that our traffic hasn't changed that much in the last 3 years, and we haven't changed our website basically at all within the last 3 years, and this being the highest the conversion rate's basically ever been, I'm going to say this is valid data here. So like I mentioned earlier, the effect that the badge itself and its increase in your site traffic conversion rates in and itself is more important and relevant than the additional free traffic you're going to get. Who cares if you don't get that much organic traffic from Google Shopping right now? And whether, and if you triple it, it may still just be a drop in the bucket for you. It doesn't matter, because you can get that great, what I call, or other people call, trust badge on your website, which is going to be a stamp of approval saying how good you are as a company. Because people don't know what top quality store is, and they don't know that all it is people just scoring your website as to how good it was to deal with. They don't know that it has nothing to do per se with product or service that you sell at all, because they don't even have time, or product in this case, I should say, because they don't even have time to check it out before they leave the rating. So anyway, that's the main thing I wanted to tell you there. And for that matter, if you wish you had somebody on your team in-house to manage your ads that was the best ad expert you could possibly find, hire, whatever, I could tell you that internal people that you hire for PPC, generally speaking, aren't, no offense to anybody watching this, aren't the best PPC people, because the best of the ones that are out there are running, their own PPC firm of some sort, because they can make the most money that way typically, or running their own shop or e-commerce store or something like that, which I've had people tell me that. I've witnessed it myself. And I know that because if I could hire people as good as I can, that I am in my own firm, we would scale a hell of a lot more, and we're not doing that. But so the best people are already basically taken, at least as far as you can't get them inside your company. There's a second best thing there for you though. You could partner with somebody who has their own firm and give them a cut of the sales, and it's basically the same way. They're personally vested in your success as a company. We do that with companies ourselves. I've invested personally cash and our time in several companies now, where we come in and we basically say, we'll pay for all your ad spend upfront to get you your ads scaling, and then any profit it makes, we'll recycle back into the ads, and we'll set up all the ads for free for you using the best strategies out there at the time. And all you got to do is pay us a percentage of your sales growth in your company. If you don't grow your sales, we get nothing. If they do grow, we get 1 to 10% of the sales somewhere, depending on the margins in that business or whatever. And that's all we'll want. But with the understanding that you can't fire us once we get you the sales, you got to keep working with us long term. We're a partner in the business. We're going to own a part of your business, and we're going to work and get paid on actual revenue growth of the business. A lot of companies don't want to do it because they don't want to be tied in with somebody long-term like that. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is you truly are going to get the best of the best of the best situation in terms of top guy working on your business as if it's his money on the line, which it is in that case. We're going to put tens of thousands of dollars in ad spend. We want to make sure we get our return on investment long-term from that, and we're not going to mess around. If you're interested in one of the companies, being one of the companies that we invest in, reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. I'll have a conversation with you about it. Similar to that, if you just want to work with other people that use the strategies that we talk about on this channel, we've opened up a Discord server recently, of which you can find that in the video description. And I've got a free PPC course there that I put together just to get the group going, that I should be selling for at least a few $100s. That's totally for free in there, of which I'm going to be releasing more courses and giving away for free, just as a way to stimulate the group. So if you're interested in the best PPC group, go ahead and check a link out as well. But with that said, I'm going to wrap everything up with that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.
Remember when I said Google Shopping was important during this video? Well, this video here tells you how to do it.